Hi, folks, and welcome to another episode of the award-winning Legends of Sport podcast. I'm your host, Andy Bernstein. This is the third episode in a series of collaborations we did with Sport Magazine and PlayersTV. Our guest on this episode is legendary sports artist Dave Hobrecht. We took the show on the road to Legends Attic in Claremont, California, where Dodgers legend Orel Hershiser is a part owner. Dave's work is on display, along with some iconic memorabilia and many of Orel's trophies. Definitely worth a visit if you're in the Southern California area or visiting soon. I really enjoyed this conversation with Dave about his journey as an artist. We first met when he painted a beautiful painting inspired by my photos of Kobe. Dave's black and white pencil and charcoal style is unique and terrific. His all-time Dodgers book with Ned Colletti is a must-have for any Dodgers fan. Hope you enjoy this episode too, and as always, folks, I'll see you on the backside. Well, it is a pleasure sitting here with my buddy Dave Hobrecht, all around your art at the Legends Attic.
Yes.
Incredible, man.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be on and of course, a part of Legends Attic, yeah.
Oh, thank you. Well, got a lot of legends going on here. We got Legends of Sport, we got Legends Attic, we got legends behind us all over the place. Dave, walk me through how you started as a painter. I mean, you and I know each other for a while.
Yeah.
I don't really know your story, like the genesis of your art. How did it start?
Well, I was always painting and drawing and doing art growing up. I did, so the reason why I ended up getting addicted to it was right after 8th grade, first day of summer, I was going to the beach and I got hit by a car.
Hey.
Yeah, destroyed. All legs shattered, pelvis shattered, half body cast, the whole thing. And back then, like nowadays, they had the phones and games and stuff. We didn't have all that stuff. Yeah. So basically all I had was pencil and paper. Oh. And I started drawing. And no joke, I haven't stopped. That was kind of how I got into it. You were
bedridden for how long?
It was a while. I got to high school. I was on, I ended up getting out. I did a lot of therapy. Getting out of the wheelchair, was on a walker for a while. And that first year, after the first year, I was able to walk normal.
Incredible.
Well, not normal, but
wow, what a way to start painting.
I know, yeah. But it was it was a nightmare, but a blessing in disguise, of course.
And so you're specialized. This was the question. Your way of specialized painting that you do was really born out of pencil and paper.
It is
out of necessity, almost.
100%.
That's 100%. Incredible. Wow.
I always loved the pencil. I like the feel of it. And I switched, it's a little bit gray, so I wanted to get more tones. So I switched to charcoals and pastels. Yeah. But, back in the day, I wanted drums, every year. My mom and dad would never give me drums. But they said, any art supplies you want, it's done. So I would go through them all. So, yeah, it was basically born out of a pencil.
That's amazing.
Still a version of that, yeah.
Have you painted anything ever that I would know in color?
No. You know what? Orel talked me into one painting, actually, which is classic. We did a Rick Monday of him saving the flag.
Oh, right. Yes.
Right? And then what we did is I painted it, and then Rick dipped baseballs in red, white, and blue. And threw them at the painting, and that was the background. So it turned really cool. But that was the only one.
Yeah.
Tops one time asked me to do color. I said no. And they said, well, paint it black and white. Would you mind if we colored it in the computer? I said, okay, I'll do that. Yeah, but I'm going to paint
like colorized Wizard of Oz or something.
Yeah. It didn't look right.
But I did see that you do an event here at Legends Attic, which, by the way, in Claremont, if anybody is close to Claremont in any of the and it's not very far from LA, by the way.
Yeah, it's not bad.
It's right off the freeway. The memorabilia, the art, everything, the framed jerseys, the cards, everything that's here, trophies like Orel Hershiser. I'm looking at his Cy Young award right here, World Series trophy. But you do many events at Legends Attic, but I saw that you do a great event with painting, where people like Pedro Martinez is throwing paint at a thing.
That's it. Yeah. It's so fun. So we were doing the normal paintings, and those were fun, and I would live paint, and people enjoyed that. But we want to do something more interactive and more collab. So it's called Splatter. We have this booth we set up every one.
I love it.
And what I do is I paint the subject, and then I put paper over it and tape the edges so it's protected.
Yeah.
And then we set it in this booth, and then we dip the baseballs in paint.
Yeah.
And we've had of course, baseball players throw it at it and do the splatter. And then we had like Michael Cooper. He came in, dipped the basketball, and it looked really cool because you got a lot of dimples and stuff. Yeah. And we've had football, and we do them every time, and people love it. The athlete really enjoys it. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. I want to talk about your book, Addison book. So, Dave, I want to talk about this book that you did.
Yes.
The All-Time Dodgers art book.
Right.
Okay. This was a bold adventure project to work on.
It was definitely.
You work with Ned Colletti, who wrote it.
Right.
And then, of course, the great Orel Hershiser, the Bulldog himself, did the forward. Tell me about how the idea for this happened and how you actually executed it. Because you and I met when you were first doing this book.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a bold move. Ned basically came into the gallery in Laguna and asked me to do a painting for him. Yeah. So I did a really cool piece of all the people that were influential in his career in the GM suite, right, in his GM box. People that have passed away, people that are still with us, all celebrating together, hanging out at a ball game. And so going through that process of the painting, getting to know Ned, he was such a great dude, and I'm just such a baseball fan, so I love his stories. He would tell me all these stories, and he's been in baseball forever. Yeah. So he was in all sorts of, I just kept pulling stories out of him, So at the end, he was asking me what I was doing next, and I go, well, I got an idea I've wanted him to do. I'm a Dodger nut, and I would love to hear a GM's perspective. We don't get to hear a GM's perspective.
Right.
And I'm like, if you were to pick a team from Brooklyn to now, like who would you pick? Why? Let's go 1 through 9 and go through this thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And he had just come off the Big Chair book. He wrote it called The Big Chair. Right. And he's like, all right. And I was floored. He's like, I'm into it. I was like, okay, let's do it.
That's amazing.
He left, and then I started getting nervous because now I have to pull this off, right?
Yeah.
And doing the paintings and each of them being original ideas coming off his words because they're all like the one right behind us. That's the staff, the all-time staff. Yeah. So creating these things and to have its own look of each one was
challenging.
It was challenging.
You listen to any talk radio, online, whatever. People are always comparing eras. Yes. They're always comparing who is great at this position, who's the best point guard, who's the best quarterback. You had to take 100 whatever years of Dodger history and narrow it down to the best person at that 9 positions. Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine the criteria. Like, what went through your head for that?
That's the hard part, and that's when Ned stepped in because he used all sorts of stuff, like new numbers, right? He used old school scouting reports. He did everything. Yeah. So he did all the research, and a franchise like the Dodgers has been around so long, and so much history, and so many players. It was like an impossible task. Yeah, there were some that you were like pretty much okay, we know, right? But he compared everything. He did a really good job, did the research, really put a lot into it, and then I tried to match his efforts with the art, and I felt obligated to now his words. Let's paint these, and see what his words come out to be like.
So, amazing. I mean, truly. I mean, you look at this. This is the all-time staff, right?
Yes.
Going back to the Brooklyn days.
Right.
There's got to be how many guys who didn't make the cut. Right?
I know. It's unbelievable.
Right?
And there's another painting. This one's great. There's another painting called the All-Time Team 26-man roster.
Yes.
That one is out of control. It's because you now could build this team, but so many people are left off.
I mean, just think about position by position. If you think about catchers. Too many. Yeah. I mean, Steve Yeager, Mike Scioscia, Roy Campanella. How do you decide?
Piazza,
Mike Piazza.
It's impossible. Yeah. I left it all to Ned.
Yeah, there you go.
And then when someone questioned me, I'm like, that's not me. I painted it. I just painted it.
I love it.
Yeah.
So how much did photography come into play and how much does it continue as you paint? Are you referring to photos for some inspiration? Are you combining photos to make one painting? Yeah. How does that work?
I love photography. I love the depth. I love everything. And your work, it's like you could stare at these pictures forever. I've gone through your book 1,000 times. I love photography and art, especially when you're into realism. You want to try to be where it's realistic, photographic, something where you see backgrounds and blurs. Not everything could be in focus, right? So I look at lots of photography. I look at thousands and thousands.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, I have a painting at the Jackie Robinson Museum. This one I did count. I ended up using 120 different images as reference for that one painting. And even to the point where I would shoot my hand if I needed a hand put in a certain direction and I wanted to make sure I could paint it correctly and get it right. So yeah, photography is a huge part of
that's so work. Interesting. And use the word realism, which, when I was working on the book with Vanessa Bryant on the Mamba and Mambacita Forever book, she was very clear that the murals that she was going to choose to be in the book had to be realistic.
Oh, really?
They couldn't be cartoon characters. They couldn't look like superheroes, anything avant-garde. She was very much into realism. And I respected that because that's how she remembers Kobe and Gigi. And with no, knock on the artists who took some liberties.
Right.
She wanted to have them in their environment as they looked in the photo.
I love that.
Most of the murals, the 116 murals in the book, were based on some photo somewhere, either I took or someone else took, or a combination of, like you said.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because, when you're going through the history of the Dodgers, I could go to the ballpark and get some visuals and do that, but when you're going through the history, you have to go through the history of photography to learn and to figure out what it looked like. What did, Ebbets look like,
exactly.
and where the shadows were coming through, and the back streets and all that kind of stuff.
So interesting.
So it's fun for me as loving baseball so much to do that research and look through all those things and figure things out.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
So you painted a beautiful portrait of Kobe that we're going to show on the podcast.
Okay.
And when I saw it for the first time, and it's big, I was taken back. I mean, I literally my breath got taken away because I remembered the photo, the main photo you based it on, and then there you used a couple of others, I think, for the nuances in your painting. To collaborate with you, on that painting, not actively because you use my photos for your inspiration. It's incredibly complimentary, but it also makes me feel like, wow, I might have created an image of him that you considered to be good enough to paint. It's pretty humbling.
Well, it was humbling when you called me to ask me to paint that.
That was amazing.
Sending me some images to use and doing it goes down as one of my favorite paintings I've ever done. For what it was for, when Kobe wanted to raise money for a sick kid.
Yep.
The whole premise of that, doing it, having Kobe see it and sign it.
Yep.
And the weird thing is, and I trip on that painting. If you look at it now, I painted it a certain way. I used reference. I used a background. I had this weird white light.
Yes.
And when you show it on the podcast, I look at it now, and maybe I'm too reading into it. But now Kobe's gone. We lose Kobe Bryant. And I look at that white light coming in from that and his stoic face. I'm like, oh my gosh, this thing. Why did I paint that? And there's no reason for it.
Well, but I think you saw the photo I shot of him meditating in black and white, by the way, which I rarely shot in black and white, but with the beam of light coming during the anthem when he's meditating, and you emulated that. That's what, it just got me right here. It was amazing.
I love that.
Thank you for painting that.
Thank you for having me paint
I have
that.
I have a print of that hanging in my office, and I see it every day.
Yeah.
I come by the mural that Jonas never painted, and then I come to my office and I have your painting. So let's talk about Legends Attic.
Cool.
Okay,
let's do it.
The birth of Legends Attic, the idea of it, what the mission is. Talk about that.
So when I met Orel was through the book. He was gracious enough to write the intro on the foreword. And he's such a great guy. I did a couple events at Dodger Stadium and got to know him a little bit. So Eddie Alizada, he is a friend of Orel's, and they did stuff with car dealerships and whatnot, and met through there. And what happened was Eddie's collection of memorabilia was unbelievable. And then they had brought some stuff to Dodger Stadium, and then they were taking it back. It was like a setup for Orel's 59 scoreless or something. They brought it back, and they're just putting it back in the garage, stuff like this, like back in Orel's garage. And they're like, we need to put this somewhere, He's like, I'm just throwing it back in the attic, And they're like, we need to come out with a spot. And they ended up coming up with Legends Attic.
That's great.
And so I got a call from Orel saying, hey, do you want to participate in this? I'm like, of course, you know. He's like, well, we got a whole spot for you. We want your art in here. We want a whole room. Come over and walk through it. Right. So we ended up coming over, and the space right in front of us is my room, and they go, do whatever you want. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. And they're like, what we're going to do is we're going to put all our memorabilia in here. We're going to have all sorts of stuff going on. We're going to have parties every month. We're going to have athletes come in. I'm like, this is unbelievable. Yeah. So that's kind of how it formed. And we've been rolling and doing. We just had Pedro Martinez in. We have all sorts of people in.
So great.
And then I get to have this dream job of painting all these athletes that come in. It's crazy, Andy. It's like unbelievable.
Yeah, you know, as you were talking about what they were going to do with this memorabilia from after it was in the stadium. When I was working for the Dodgers, there was some, this was 84 to 95, so I don't know what year it was, but there was some anniversary of something from the Brooklyn days. Okay. And I remember people couldn't find anything in Dodger Stadium going back to Brooklyn. And somebody said, who I guess had worked, you know, the Dodgers back then, and said, well, we have that stuff. It's somewhere in the building. So this is true. There was a storage room, it's probably still there, maybe after the renovations, maybe not. A storeroom under the fifth level, which is the press box. Yeah. Above the seating in the field level, there was a storage room that one guy had the key to. And you go in, I went in there, there was a single light. This is true. They found the bass drum from Ebbets Field. They found the home plate from Ebbets Field. They were finding bats. They were finding trunks, and only one person literally knew about it.
That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
And now it's all displayed all around the stadium.
That's unreal.
Which is really.
I have a story similar. Yeah. I was doing a deal with Bill Walton at UCLA, and they said, that guy was unbelievable to me. What a great gentleman. Yeah. So UCLA says, come up. Look through the archives to get some images of what you kind of want to do. And I go into this room, and it was file cabinets, like the old trashy, like steel ones. Right. And I pull it, I'm going through the files, I'm going through Bill's, and then I'm like, it says Jackie Robinson. So I'll go through these too. Oy. I went through it. There was letters, recruitment letters, all sorts of stuff in this steel trash, file cabinet. Yeah. Now I'm assuming they've taken it up since then, but you never know. It was unreal.
Yeah, I have a friend who has the entire archive from the Hollywood Park racetrack. You know, they demolished it and they built SoFi Stadium and that whole Hollywood Park complex. They were going to throw away 75 years worth of an archive. That's crazy. And this guy Kip said, no, I'll take it. Yeah. I'll figure out. And it's been sitting in the storage room, not too far from here, actually. For 15 years.
That's unbelievable.
And it's the history of Hollywood Park going back to when all the celebrities would come out. It was the place to go.
That is.
Besides, before Dodger Stadium, before the Forum, that's where the celebrities would go watch races. Track. Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Maybe that's another side business
I know.
Talk about. Anyway, David, one last thing. We're celebrating the great Sport Magazine. It's making a revival, a resurgence. There's going to be a big celebration this year at opening day.
So
baseball,
exciting. So exciting.
You know, has already passed once, you know, we did this interview. What do you remember about Sport Magazine even as a kid? Because you know there were only two great sports magazines.
There was that, and then a couple, and then later off was
Sports Illustrated was was considered for us photographers as the gold standard. Sport was obviously, I wanted to get published in Sport just as much as Sports Illustrated.
Oh yeah. No, that's a thing, and as a kid you go through it. And it circles back to photography, to be honest. Yeah. And I love those magazines, and I love surfer magazines. Those were my two sports, actually. It was baseball and surf. Yeah. And mine was all photography. Yeah. You know, photography. And finding out, actually, I just found out that Sport Magazine was the first one that did color photos. That's amazing.
I didn't know that. That's amazing.
Before even the other ones.
Yeah. Joe DiMaggio was on the first cover.
Yeah. And I love that. I saw the Joe DiMaggio with the Willie. That was great. Yep. But looking through it and just having, you know, you go online and it's fine, but there's something about flipping through and looking through those. I love that. Yeah. And I love the photography and whatnot. Yeah. You know, articles were second to me to photos because the photos got my brain rolling, and then I'm starting to picture them running around or playing or whatnot. Yep. I just love it.
I'm thrilled to have it back. And, you know, we sat with Orel earlier, and talked about his cover, and then I
Yeah,
had the
that cover
photos
is
on the
cool.
inside, and you know, he and I can relive that time through the photos in this iconic magazine. So, yeah, good luck to Sport, and and good luck to you, man.
Thank you,
Legends
Andy.
Addict. This is so
I appreciate
great.
it. Thank you so much for having me.
How much love and effort and blood, sweat, and tears you put into your work, and it shows, Dave. And I'm just happy to be here in Legends Attic. Finally, now I'm going to have to come out a lot. Now you got to
hang out with us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, come and hang out. There's fun stuff.
Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks,
Appreciate
Andy.
it.
I appreciate it.
Fun.
Thanks so much.
So great to catch up with the very busy and talented Dave Hobrecht. Thanks to Dave for taking the time to chat and for helping us to bring the show to the Legends Attic. Such a wonderful place full of sports memorabilia and Dave's art. Thanks also to Christian and co-owner Orel Hershiser for their hospitality. Definitely, folks, worth the short drive to Claremont if you're in the Southern California area or visiting soon. Thanks to our collaborators on this episode, Sport Magazine and PlayersTV. We have more episodes coming with them, folks, so stay tuned. Thanks as always to our producer, Carlin Barker, and our editors, Sean Gosser and Addison Shao. Thanks, everyone, for joining us for this episode of the podcast. You know how much we love and are thankful to all our loyal followers. Please, folks, tell your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Legends of Sport, and our Instagram at Legends of Sport, and my photography on Instagram at ADB Photo Inc. Folks, please check out the discount link in our social media to our friends at Mugsy. We absolutely love Mugsy's clothes, and so will you. And the discount link to our friends at You Should, the best way you should protect your skin for work, play, and everyday life. Thanks again, folks. We'll be back next week with another great episode of the Legends of Sport podcast.